What do you do with the games that you have yet to finish? Do you leave them close by so you don't forget about them? Perhaps you're the passionate type that writes deep poetry about the games that you had to let go. Or maybe you're disciplined and set up playdates with your backlog games every other week. Now, what do we do with our backlog games? We throw them behind our fridge to hide our shame. You see, we're the type of gamers who get a thrill out of beating as many games as possible. We've compiled a list over the years of our accomplishments. So, anytime we stop playing a game due to various reasons, it stresses us out. Kinda like Thanksgiving. A wonderful holiday, yet one full of unnecessary tension and drama in some households. Today's story is about expressing your gratitude and appreciation towards our Nintendo Switch backlog games for Thanksgiving. Hiding your problems only causes more issues and mental fatigue later down the road. So maybe if we are thankful for a drastic backlog collection for once, we'll feel better about ourselves. That being said, the two of us prepared an outlandish 4-course meal to cover the different kinds of games within our Switch backlog. The Appetizers are the smaller yet charming games, bite-sized indie titles that don't require a lot of labor and all the time in the world to beat. We tend to find ourselves peacefully starting an indie game, and the next thing you know, it's in the backlog corner faster than the amount of time it takes to figure out the entire plot of a Christmas Hallmark movie 60 seconds in. Seriously, the amount of games we've played for one day is outrageous. Games like Lonely Mountain Downhill and Figment are excellent games to allow your mind to escape reality and be a part of their worlds, while games such as Swords of Ditto and Child of Light provide a wonderful sense of creative adventure and cooperative fun. Not sure what kind of unseen force is stopping us from cracking open a delicious beverage and sitting down to once and for all beat these games. Then once that warm buzz takes over, we could tackle those party games. We barely remember playing Lovers in a Dangerous Space-Time, all thanks to a few buds. Vitamin Connection and Conduct Together are two other wild party games that we had a blast with. As much as we want to go back and play all of these games, there's admittedly some digital backlog titles that we aren't all that concerned going back to. Yeah, they could just wait it out a tad bit longer. Hollow and Dear God are some of the worst Switch games. They don't belong behind the fridge. They deserve a worse punishment for being a couple of garbage boy games, like solitary confinement under our bathroom sink, or worse, locked away in our closet door. A door that should never be opened. Moving on. We got a handful of other indie titles that would require a decent amount of time to beat them all. Especially Stardew Valley and Wizard Legend, considering we have to start completely over since we originally played the digital versions, but we could not contain ourselves and bought the physical versions of them years later because we're crazy. Yeah, pretty fucking stupid of us, we know. We've only scratched the surface of Omori. This game has the potential of leaving a significant impact on us. Knowing this, it's actually irritating that we just tossed it aside like it was nothing. We constantly say to each other, man, why did we stop playing Omori? Like, we should just keep playing. Yeah, I know, we should. Then proceed not to do dick shit about it. Finally, we have the games that are almost complete. Like, it would take us less than a couple of hours each to finish them. We are fully capable of creating a super spectacular backlog night and marathon them all. Nah, that sounds like way too much effort and planning, and I don't want to do that. Can we just move on? The side dish games are bigger titles such as AAA or first party games that we are so close to finishing. Nothing feels worse than completing 80% of a game and out of nowhere, life delivers a mean sucker punch directly into your throat. Months go by, maybe even years, and oh yeah, Pokken Tournament DX. Forgot about you. Then the questions creep into your head, whispering the things you don't want to hear. What if Pokken doesn't remember me? Does Pokken hate? Has Pokken moved on to better things in life? So you wistfully put it back down, where it stays put for like 2 years. Pokemon is one of our all-time favorite franchises, so having Pokemon games in our backlog is worse than eating green bean casserole. No, seriously. That side dish. I don't know, man. The Diamond and Pearl remakes are okay. Sure, it was a blast of nostalgia and the little new additions were neat. It's just, we got throat chopped by life. Then we turned a corner and bam! Pokemon Legends slapped us upside the head and Diamond and Pearl took a dive into the backlog corner. Well, we suffered concussions and major bruises. You know, we really gotta work on our reflexes. New video games release faster than... God damn it! With the constant release of new video games, you have a couple difficult choices to make. You either wait to purchase it after completing the game you're currently playing, or buy it day one and play immediately with zero concern for your backlog. Getting deeply distracted with side quests, afraid to beat the game because you never want it to end, being too lazy, or simply not having enough time are also signs that you are developing a catastrophic case of backlog syndrome. Oh, and can't forget about losing interest or care. Looking at you, Lego City Undercover. Sonic Mania and Rayman Legends are two games that we do care about and feel guilty for putting them in timeout. Super Kirby Clash and Mario Bros, the Arcade Archive editions, are two other co-op games that we hope to come back to soon. Mario Bros isn't really a big title. We only included it in the side dish category since it played a big role in our childhood. The two of us would link up our Game Boy SPs or Advances and attempt to beat Mario Bros on the Super Mario Advance cartridges, but never succeeded. Deathmark and NG Spirit Hunter are not multiplayer games, though we tend to play horror games together and take turns. Horror games get the spotlight during October. Each week we'll play a new one. Sometimes we'll beat them, most times we don't. Once November rolls around, the horror games we didn't have time to finish get abandoned, discarded, and untouched. Like Green Bean Casserole. At least the side dish games are almost complete, unlike some other titles in our backlog. Big video games. Games published by Nintendo. AAA titles. Games that take hours to beat and days well spent. It's a daunting task to urge yourself to continue a massive game that you stopped playing years ago. Like, what the did I even do last? Where the hell am I? Who the hell is this guy? You self-diagnose yourself with amnesia because you can't for the life of you remember what happened in the story. RPGs are the worst kind of games to stop playing. We're already fully prepared to swift through wiki pages in order to familiarize ourselves with the plot of Fire Emblem, like we're doing a last-minute school assignment. Man, I don't want to do no school. Man, we're if we ever go back to Octopath, because there's like 26 stories and plots happening all at once. Where do we even begin? Our best bet is to start completely over, clean slate. Same goes with Skyrim, since the game is extraordinarily huge. It's incredibly awkward returning to games with little progression. It's like starting a new job and after a week of work, you go on medical leave for 3 months. The day you come back, you feel left out and anxious. You gotta relearn how to do your job and learn everyone's names again. And then when you get Jared's name wrong, he's gonna go tell on HR on you because he thinks you're bullying him. Speaking of, Matt and I haven't been too kind to our recent Christmas games. We tell ourselves we'll start the year off strong by playing a good Switch title. The hell with your typical life-changing New Year's resolutions. Our resolutions involve beating video games. Ooh, yikes. You know, we should probably reconsider our priorities. Yeah, but if you think about it, maybe the reason why we have a massive backlog is because we focus on prioritizing our lives. Well, let's take a look at a few main course games and see why we stopped playing them. Starlink Battle for Atlas. Fun cooperative gameplay, annoying as characters and voice acting.
I think I just saw him just like fly past and
why did we stop playing? We got lazy. The Wonderful 101. Same story. Outlast 2. The classic case of the month of October ending. No More Heroes was a good game. It's just, we didn't feel that urgency of, oh my god, we need to beat it now, otherwise we're gonna regret it. Skyward Sword HD. Big regret. We both enjoyed the original, but we didn't feel the magic when we returned to the Switch version. Maybe because I played it for the first time back in 2017, right before the launch of Breath of the Wild. So it didn't exactly feel fresh and new. Balan Wonderworld. We went insane playing this, though we are required to beat it before the ticket expires. Otherwise, some curse won't be lifted or something. We don't know. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm. Running around the Leaf Village never gets old. Well, yeah, obviously it got old because we haven't stepped foot in that village since May of 2021. What can we say? We were busy that spring. Yeah, busy juggling and stressing out about playing way too many games. Like Miitopia. Oh man, what a game. Creating wacky Miis, traveling through faraway lands to rescue faces. Too bad we're awful at focusing on more than one thing because Mario Golf Super Rush released and took over our lives. Monster Hunter Rise possessed us for a good 2 to 3 weeks. We were addicted to everything from creating Palamutes, the hub, the multiplayer and adventures, the music, Palamutes, the world, combat, creating more Palamutes. It was amazing. Then new Pokemon Snap came out and we got distracted. Damn it, why can't we focus on more than one thing? So it looks like we didn't prioritize our lives at all. Yeah, what an embarrassment. I can't believe we stopped playing Monster Hunter Rise so soon. That game was awesome. I know, and there's a massive DLC expansion we have still yet to explore. The stress is too much to handle. Luckily, I know a way to help cope. Therapy? Sweets. After you beat a game, you feel satisfied and full. Yet, you crave more. Maybe there's room for dessert. DLC and post-game content. Nothing sweeter than playing more of that game that you just spent hours of your life with. It's like going on a date. The first date is equivalent to playing the game on day one. You know, getting a feel for it. Depending on your experience, you go on that second date. It goes great. So, you start to go on more and more. Your relationship is passionate. Every Saturday night is quality time with you and your game. While at work or school, you can't stop thinking about it. You know this is the one. Eventually, you finish the game. But do you really want it to end? Perhaps you can take this relationship to the next level. Post-game content and DLC. Extras and side quests. Yeah, maybe it's time to fully commit and think about settling down. Meh, or you end up dumping the game after you beat the final boss and move on right to the next one, completely ghosting it and too afraid to ever go back. There's a lot of factors as to why we've left so many games on the dessert tray. It's typical for us to set high expectations for a new game. March 6th, 2020, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX was released. We couldn't wait to relive our childhood. Not only did we want to beat the story, but we wanted to play as many post-game missions. We'd explore new dungeons, catch legendaries, rescue more friends, shiny or new, and ascend to the highest rank. Yeah, we could not wait. We finished the story in a little over a week and got to experience a handful of side quests. Then here comes Animal Crossing New Horizons headed directly towards our throats. Mystery Dungeons was ultimately ghosted. Oh yeah, New Horizons DLC. Forgot about that one. Downloadable content for games sometimes releases years after the game's initial launch day. So when that new update comes out, it's too much of a commitment to want to come back. It can be rather exhausting. Like collecting all 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild. Dude, we're still at it. Every year we go back and play Breath of the Wild around the Nintendo Switch's anniversary. It's become a tradition at this point. We'll hop in, run around and around for a few weeks, only to find 12 Korok seeds, and then repeat that same process again the following year. We did, however, finish the 2 DLC bundles, but then we take a look at its little brother and we still need to find time to start the second DLC pack in Hyrule Warriors. We've at least poured a few hours into Splatoon 2's Octo expansion and Mario & Rabbids Kingdom Battle Donkey Kong's Adventure. Unfortunately, we could not find it in our hearts to fully commit, take an arrow to the knee. Nintendo's gotta take a hint and stop with the free random updates. Okay, awesome, a free update with the new to enjoy. Why complain? One problem with this method of adding content is most of the user base has already moved on because the game got stale and boring way too fast due to a lack of day one material. These updates either excite new players for about 2 days or they're too caught up in other games to want to come back. Mike and I haven't even touched the new updates for Mario Golf and Strikers. Don't get us wrong, we want to try out these new characters and the modes and levels, but now's just not the time. Hope you two understand. Although, making that time to go back to old games you haven't touched in a while is actually a lot of fun and relaxing. The memories come flooding back and you get obsessed with the side quests and feel rewarded when you beat the extra stories. Instead of overthinking and feeling worried about returning to that game, sometimes all it takes is simply picking it back up. We've recently done this with Pokemon Legends Arceus and wow, we forgot how addicting this game is. Every once in a while, you should answer to that sweet tooth craving because boy, it sure is satisfying. Well, that was this year's Thanksgiving meal. We've offered a wide selection of Nintendo Switch games, a glorious spread filled with splendid titles. This feast reminded us to not forget and abandon these games, but to show thanks and appreciate the time we spent with them, even if it was only a day. Now, with the dinner finished and our dessert plate slicked clean, we have one question to answer. Do we feel better about ourselves for giving thanks to our backlog? No, that was the worst meal ever. Switch cartridges taste awful. You know what? That green bean casserole sounds pretty good right now.